You say yes again. Your mouth moves before your brain catches up. Someone needs help. And somehow always you're the one who shows up, even when you're exhausted, even when you've got nothing left to give, even when a small, quiet voice inside you whispers, "Not again," but you ignore it, because you're kind, right? What if I told you that your kindness isn't kindness at all? What if the thing you've been praised for your entire life is actually slowly destroying you from the inside out? Let me paint you a picture. It's late. You've already cancelled your own plans twice this week. Your body is heavy, your mind is foggy, and yet your phone buzzes. It's a friend. Again. They need to talk. Again. And before you even finish reading the message, your thumbs are already typing. Of course, I'm here. Your chest tightens. You feel the resentment creeping in, thick and hot. But you push it down, because good people don't feel resentful. Good people help. So you show up, you listen, you fix it, you soothe. And when it's over, you're alone in your room, staring at the ceiling, wondering why you feel so hollow, like you just gave away a piece of yourself you'll never get back. Here's the thing nobody tells you. You're bleeding yourself dry for people who would never do the same for you. And the worst part? You know it. You feel it every single time. But you can't stop. But here's what makes this truly dangerous. In 2011, a researcher named Barbara Oakley introduced a term that should have changed everything. Pathological altruism. It's kindness that harms. Not just you, but the very people you're trying to help. Her research showed that compulsive helpers, people who can't stop giving, have significantly higher rates of burnout, anxiety, and depression. They lose their identity. Their relationships become transactional. They stop knowing who they are when they're not being useful. And the people they help, they never learn to stand on their own. They become dependent, entitled, sometimes even resentful when you finally try to pull back. You're not being kind. You're being terrified. And I'm going to show you exactly what you're afraid of. Because buried underneath all that giving, all that sacrifice, all that selflessness, there are 3 dark truths you've been running from your entire life. Let's start with the first one. Fear of abandonment. You learned this early, didn't you? Maybe it was subtle. A parent who only smiled when you got good grades. A sibling who only played with you when you shared your toys. A teacher who praised you for being so helpful, so mature. The message was clear. Love is earned, and the currency is useful. So now, as an adult, you give because you think it's the only way to be kept. You overextend. You ignore your own needs. You say yes when your body is screaming no. You show up when you're falling apart because the thought of letting someone down feels like dying. And you never, ever ask for help, because asking feels like exposing your worthlessness. Like admitting you're not actually the strong, dependable person everyone thinks you are. You're not being generous. You're trying to buy your place at the table. And deep down, you know it. That's why it hurts so much when people don't thank you, when they take you for granted, when they disappear for weeks and only reach out when they need something. Because if you're not useful, are you anything at all? There's actually a term for this. Psychologists call it transactional bonding. You learned in childhood that relationships are conditional. That love must be purchased with perfect behavior, constant availability, and the erasure of your own needs. So, you became a ghost, a helper, a fixer, always there for everyone else, never quite solid enough to take up space yourself. And the terrifying part? It works. People do stay, but not because they love you, because they need you. And somewhere deep inside, you know the difference. And it gets worse. Because sometimes your kindness isn't even about them. It's about you. This is the second fear, and it's the one that's hardest to admit. You fix their problems, so they need you. You become indispensable. You position yourself as the only one who truly understands them, the only one who can help. Because if they're okay without you, if they solve it on their own, if they find someone else, then what? You become irrelevant, forgettable, replaceable. Psychologists call this codependency. But that word has been watered down so much that people don't understand what it really means. It's not just about staying in toxic relationships. It's about needing to be needed so desperately that you manufacture crises to solve. You give not because they need it, but because you need to be needed. Think about it. The parent who sacrifices everything but reminds you of it constantly, who makes you feel guilty for living your own life. The friend who's always there to save you, but somehow you always end up owing them. The partner who does so much for you that you feel guilty for wanting space, for having other friends, for not needing them every single day. Kindness that comes with strings attached isn't kindness. It's a transaction. And the price is your freedom, your autonomy, your right to exist without debt. There's a reason you feel relieved when people struggle. Not consciously, of course. You'd never admit it out loud, but when they call you crying, when they're lost and confused and desperate, something inside you lights up, because at that moment, you matter. You have purpose. You're not just existing, you're essential. And that feeling, that rush of being needed, it's become your drug, your proof of worth. Without it, you're terrified you'll disappear completely. But the darkest reason? That's the one no one talks about. This one lives so deep, you might not even recognize it at first. You don't think you deserve rest, or love, or peace. Maybe you carry guilt from something that happened years ago, a mistake you made, a person you hurt, a version of yourself you're ashamed of. Maybe someone once called you selfish, and it stuck like a scar. Maybe you were taught that suffering is noble, that sacrifice is proof of worth, that the only way to earn your place in this world is to give until there's nothing left. Freud called it moral masochism, the unconscious belief that you deserve to suffer. That pain is what you're owed, and so you give, and give, and give, not because it feels good, but because exhausting yourself feels like repentance. Like if you just sacrifice enough, help enough, disappear enough, maybe you'll finally be forgiven for the crime of existing. Pain is familiar. Emptiness feels like home. But kindness to yourself? That feels wrong, selfish, dangerous, like you're breaking some sacred rule that's been carved into your bones since childhood. So you keep going until there's nothing left. Until you're a ghost in your own life, moving through the motions, smiling through gritted teeth, waiting for someone, anyone, to notice how much you're hurting. But they don't. Because you've taught them not to. You've trained everyone around you to take and take and take, because that's the only way you know how to connect. And now you're trapped, resentful but unable to stop, exhausted but unable to rest, dying but still showing up with a smile. Here's what happens when you live like this for years. Your body starts to break down, chronic fatigue that no amount of sleep can fix, migraines that come out of nowhere, insomnia because your mind won't stop running through everything you need to do for everyone else. Your immune system weakens. You get sick more often. Your doctor says it's stress, but you can't stop because stopping feels like failure. Your mind becomes a war zone. Resentment on one side, guilt on the other. You resent the people you help because they take you for granted, but you feel guilty for resenting them because you're the one who offered. You're the one who said yes. You're the one who built this prison. And the people you help, they don't respect you, they expect you. They've learned that you'll always be there, always say yes, always put their needs above your own. So they stop asking and start assuming. They stop appreciating and start demanding. And when you finally, after years of this, try to set a boundary, try to say no, try to put yourself first just once, they look at you like you've betrayed them, like you've broken some unspoken contract. The irony is brutal. You resent them for taking what you keep offering. In Japan, there's a concept called gaman, enduring suffering with dignity and patience. It's seen as honorable, noble, even, a sign of strength and maturity, until you collapse, until your body gives out, until you're lying in a hospital bed wondering how it got this bad. Because society loves martyrs. It praises people who sacrifice themselves for others. But it doesn't tell you what happens after. It doesn't show you the broken people who gave so much they forgot how to receive, who helped so many they forgot how to ask for help. who loved everyone except themselves. So how do you stop? How do you break a pattern that's been carved into your nervous system since childhood? Let me be clear. Real kindness includes yourself in the equation. It's not selfish to have limits. It's not cruel to say no. It's not abandonment to choose yourself sometimes. These are lies you've been told to keep you compliant, to keep you giving, to keep you small. Start small. This week, say no to one thing. Just one. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be as simple as, I care about you, but I can't right now. Or, I need some time for myself today. Or even just, no, I'm not available. No explanation. No justification. No apology for existing. Watch what happens. You'll feel guilty. Your chest will tighten. Your mind will flood with worst-case scenarios. That voice will scream, you're a bad person, you're letting them down, they'll hate you. They'll leave. But here's the truth. That guilt is the wound trying to stay alive. It's not your moral compass. It's your trauma trying to keep you safe by keeping you small. Learn to tell the difference between guilt, which is I did something wrong, and discomfort, which is I'm changing a pattern. One is real. One is just fear dressed up as morality. Practice this. When someone asks you for something, pause, take a breath, check in with your body. Does this feel like genuine desire to help? Or does it feel like obligation, like fear? Like if you say no, something terrible will happen. If it's the latter, that's your cue. That's the pattern trying to run again. You don't have to fight it. Just notice it. Say to yourself, this is the old pattern. This is the fear of talking. I'm safe even if I say no. And here's the beautiful part, the part that makes all of this worth it. The people who truly love you won't punish you for having boundaries. They'll respect them. They'll adjust. They'll actually appreciate you more because you're finally being honest instead of resentful. The users? They'll leave. They'll get angry. They'll call you selfish. They'll try to guilt you back into place. And that's not a loss. That's clarity. That's information. That's the universe showing you who was there for you and who was there for what you could give them. Let them go. Mourn if you need to, but don't chase them. Don't shrink yourself back down to keep them comfortable. There's another piece to this that nobody talks about. You need to learn how to receive. I know that sounds simple, but for people like you, it's terrifying. When someone offers to help you, your immediate instinct is to say no, to minimize, to insist you're fine. Because receiving means being vulnerable. It means admitting you have needs. It means letting someone see you as human instead of as a helper. Practice saying yes. When someone offers to buy you coffee, say yes. When someone asks if you need anything, tell them the truth. When someone compliments you, don't deflect. Just say thank you. It will feel wrong at first, like you're taking advantage, like you're being selfish. But that feeling is the wound healing. That discomfort is growth. And slowly, over time, you'll start to realize something profound. People actually like helping you. They want to give to you. Not because they owe you, not because you've earned it, but because that's what people do when they care about someone. They give freely, without keeping score, without resentment, the way you've been giving your entire life, except you'll finally be on the receiving end. One more thing. You need to grieve. Grieve the version of yourself you thought you had to be. Grieve the relationships that only worked when you were small. Grieve the years you spent believing your worth was measured in what you could do for others. This grief is necessary. It's not a weakness, it's liberation. Because on the other side of that grief is a version of you that exists not as a helper, not as a fixer, not as a tool for other people's comfort, but as a whole, complete human being who gives because they want to, not because they're terrified of what happens if they don't. And that version of you, that's who you were always meant to be. So the next time you say yes when everything in you screams no, pause. Put your hand on your chest, feel your heartbeat, and ask yourself, am I being kind or am I being scared? Am I giving from overflow or from emptiness? Am I helping this person Or am I trying to save myself from the terror of being abandoned? Because the darkest side of kindness isn't what it does to others. It's what it does to you. It's the slow erosion of yourself, the gradual disappearance of your needs, your wants, your voice. It's waking up one day and realizing you don't know who you are when you're not being useful. So tell me, when's the last time you showed yourself the same compassion you give everyone else? When's the last time you asked yourself what you needed and actually listened to the answer? Because you deserve that. Not because you've earned it, not because you've sacrificed enough, but because you're human. And that's enough. That's always been enough.